Hey, this is Brian Operst. We are live again. OBee. I just decided to come quick live again. I know that maybe some people would come in. It was just a show that just ended called the Scoop, and figured maybe some of my followers and stuff would come on in, and yeah, we'll just kind of hang out a little bit here and see what rolls through here. you know, I love going live, and it's something I enjoy doing, and I know sometimes I don't get a lot of people in, and
Running a business gives me enough to deal with, like video meetings, maintenance, and filing an insurance claim. Luckily, auto owners makes it easy. They pay what they owe without any hassle. That's simple human sense. You can get a Wendy's.
we may not do anything with this one. I don't know if nobody comes in chats or whatnot. This one may just go get deleted. I don't know, but watching the Blue Jackets, they are down 4-3. The Cavs are down big, 101-83 tonight to the Detroit Pistons. It's not looking good for them. Blue Jackets down 4-3 as they lose on a shorthanded or down on after a shorthanded goal. They came back and tied this game up at 3 and just fell apart. And it's just hard to believe that they just could not find a way to score on that shorthanded goal. I mean that's frustrating. You're down, you give a shorthanded goal when you have the advantage for 4 minutes, and you give up a shorthanded goal, and that's devastating to watch, to see, what happened, and the players got to be really upset by that. How can you do that? How can you let that happen?
Ready, set, go with more savings on your new Toyota. Lease a 2025 Camry for $279 a month or a 2025 Tundra SR four-wheel drive.
But we were talking earlier, and I know I just kind of wanted to see if anybody came on, and we're going to re-talk about what we're talking about. This is the OBee Sports Talk Show, where I'm your host, OBee, and I love talking Ohio sports. I love talking Ohio sports. I love engaging. I love talking about Ohio State. I love talking about Browns. We'll talk about Cleveland Indians, Cleveland Cavaliers, and really probably in the last 10 years, I've really gotten into hockey. Maybe that's because I think it's probably because I live in Columbus. I live in the Columbus area, and I get to watch the Blue Jackets, get to go watch some games, and it's just a fun atmosphere to be part of the fifth line at Nationwide and watch the Blue Jackets play. And they've had a really good season this year. You really can't say a lot about this, really a lot about that. You know what I mean? I think it goes without saying. You lose a player at the beginning of the season, Johnny Goodrow, and his brother were killed in a car accident, and or killed in they were riding their bikes. They were hit by a drunk driver. This team has carried that with the weight of that on their shoulders this season, and they're really trying hard to win every game for Johnny Goodrow, to do it for Johnny Goodrow. He's been honored a lot this season in different stages of their season, and it's just been fun to watch. It's been a fun season, and even if they miss the playoffs this year, I feel like it's okay because this team, we got a lot out of this team this year. They've played with a lot of heart, a lot of passion, and I really feel like they've grown in their faith this year as a team, and I'm excited to see what the future holds for this team. I think that I think the expectations are high. I think they should be high. This is a good looking team this year, a good young team, that's got a lot of playmakers, that's dealt with a lot this year, key injuries, and like I said, leading Johnny Goudreau, and so yeah, they've worn a lot of that on their shoulders this year, and they've carried that weight, and they played hard every single game almost this year, and that's amazing to see. The Cleveland Browns have been my team for as long as I can remember. You know, as a young kid growing up in Marblehead, Ohio, I've been a Cleveland Browns fan for about 40 some, 47, 40, let's just say 45, 44. You know, not quite 47 because it's hard to say when you're 47 when you're born, but I guess you could say I was born into it. I was born into being a Cleveland Indians fan, born being a Cleveland Cavaliers fan. And I've been a fan of Ohio State, like it was said in the Ohio podcast, for a long, over 40 some years and whatnot. And so those are the teams that I enjoy, and I enjoy watching. And I do root for Cincinnati Reds when they're not playing the Cleveland Indians. Um, and like I said, I think it'd be fun to see an All Ohio World Series. I think a lot of us are waiting for that day to happen. We're waiting for. We think that'd be exciting to see, and we think MLB should put that in play, where we have an All Ohio World Series. If we could ever manipulate or create a season where you have a great matchup for a World Series, I think Cleveland Cincinnati would be a great World Series. I think it'd be epic. I think it'd be iconic. I think it'd be something that a lot of people would enjoy and would love to be part of and love to see. Hey, Ohio podcast. So I'm just on here just trying to talk in a little bit. Nothing in particular right now. I covered who I thought was going to win the divisions and made my prediction for the World Series. I said the Boston Red Sox will win the AL East. Cleveland Indians will win the Central. The Astros will win the AL West. Dodgers NL West. Rays AL East. Milwaukee NL Central. And I was discussing what do you think of, could we see this year? Could we see a Ohio World Series with the Cleveland Indians versus the Cincinnati Reds? How cool would that be to see a World Series with those two teams? I think that'd be awesome. I think that'd be epic. I think that'd be classic. I think that'd be a lot of fun to see. Um, I always say it's Ohio. Yeah, it would be. It would be awesome to see the Battle of Ohio. You know, and it'd be like Ohio versus the world, and it would be coming like full full circle with Ohio World Series. I think a lot of people would love it. I think even if you weren't a fan of one of those two teams, I really think they would enjoy it just as much as anything. Um, this is more or less just like a quick little live video. I just kind of wanted to come on here because I know the scoop just Buckeye Boys just ended, and yeah, so I also think it'd be cool. I think they need to bring back our team name. Yeah, I came on again, Jonathan. I was kind of just sitting here. I was like, why not come back on here again and just kind of talk a little bit more about it? Um, yeah, I remember that World Series. That was a fun World Series between the Oakland and San Francisco. Yeah, that was what, back in like '89. I think it was 1989. Was the Giants and Oakland A's, and that was a good World Series. Um, that was icon. That was kind of like iconic. The Subway Series that was good between the Yankees and the Mets. Um, but yeah, it's interesting you bring up the one the bag. Is almost kind of forgot about that one. But yeah, that was a good World Series. That's back when Oakland had the Bash Brothers, uh, Mark McGuire and Jose Canseco. Um, I think Dennis Eckersley was on that Oakland A's team. Dave Stewart. It's interesting. Bonds wasn't on the Giants yet, but I believe he had, wasn't it JT Snow and Will Clark were like the big two names for the Giants. Um, what's up? Oh, I'm sorry. But yeah, that's um, interesting that you had, yeah, Clark was on that team. Um, yeah, the good old classic Will Clark. That boy could hit. Yeah, Bonds was with the, yeah, he was with the Pirates. He wasn't on that juice yet. What? Just turn it off. I was doing a video. Ken Griffey Jr. would have been a good one. Yeah, that would. Yeah, he could if he would have stayed healthy. He could have he could have maybe been um, a World Series. Got the Reds to a World Series. Yeah, it makes you wonder how good that Reds team could have been when they had King Griffey Jr. if King Griffey Jr. stays healthy. Yeah, he had a rough go in Cincinnati where he couldn't stay healthy, and that definitely made a difference um, for them. But yeah, I guess I turned the camera off upstairs. The downstairs camera was on from our bedroom, and they could hear me through the monitor upstairs. So yeah, it's kind of a little mishap where they could hear me. So hopefully they can't hear me now since I turned the camera off. I didn't think about that. Um, it's usually right now it faces towards the basement one instead of David's room usually, and I didn't realize it was loud. So yeah. But anyways, who was some other players that were on that Oakland A's Giants World Series team? Trying to think who else the Giants had that year. Um, look that up.
No matter what kind of teeth you gotta brush,
Ricky Henderson.
Magic cleans better with one simple touch.
Ricky Henderson was the speedy guy. 1989 World Series. Tony La Russa was the manager for the Oakland A's.
JD Power's most dependable small and mid-sized SUVs, and our best-selling Rogue, a consumer guide Best Buy 11 years in a row. Choose from 6 models under 30,000.
Crazy thing is, Oakland A's swept that series 4 games to none. Roger Craig was the manager of the Giants.
Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're one of America's largest financial services companies, too. Just like I'm so much more than quarterback Peyton Manning. I'm also Peyton Manning.
It's lovely, Peyton.
Did you say Peyton or Peyton?
Peyton.
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 Great work.
Thank you. For your insurance and financial needs.
Looking it up here, see what we got here. Lance Blankenship for the Oakland A's. Dave Henderson was on that team. Rick Honeycutt, Dave Parker, Terry Steinbeck, Walt Weiss, Ron Hassey. The Giants had Brett Butler, Will Clark, Candy Milanato, Kevin Mitchell, Robbie Thompson. Matt Williams was on that team. It definitely did not. The Giants definitely didn't have the pitching. I think that's what was ended up being the downfall of the World Series, because Oakland, like I said, had the pitching down to science. Todd Burns, Dennis Eggersley, Ricky Honeycutt, Dave Stewart, Bob Welch. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, Giants had the offense, but they didn't have the pitching. They lost that game 4 games to 0. Oakland swept in a 4-game series.
Get out there and line up for the offensive zone face-off. And that's a shot from distance.
So yeah, that was quite the World Series. Even though it was 4-0, they lost 4-0 to the Oakland A's. That's crazy. Yeah, Kevin Mitchell is interesting. A lot of those players for the Giants bounced around. Played a lot of different places. Blue Jackets now down 5-3. What was some of your other favorite World Series that you remember watching? How about the New York Yankees versus the Arizona Diamondbacks? When the Diamondbacks, hey, Blue Jackets just got one back, 5-4 now. The Arizona Diamondbacks against the New York Yankees, when the Diamondbacks had Randy Johnson, Kurt Schilling, Luis Gonzalez, the big hitter. Oh, yeah, how about the 1990 World Series, last time the Reds won it all? He was on, let's look at that team. Chris Sabo. They swept the Oakland A's that year. The Nasty Boys, yeah. It was crazy. In '89, Oakland swept the Giants. And then in 1990, the Reds returned the favor and swept the Oakland A's. Cincinnati Reds. Billy Hatcher. Like you said, Barry Larkin, Paul O'Neill, Joe Oliver, Chris Sabo, Hal Morris. And Oakland had Harold Baines along with Mike Gaglio, Mark McGuire, Jose Canseco. Well, maybe Jose Canseco wasn't quite there yet. Or did not make the roster? Yeah, pitching Norm Charlton, Jose Rio, Norm Charlton, Rob Dibble. That was an interesting team. That was a good team. 1990 Cincinnati Reds. Randy Myers was the came and had 4 saves in the series in that playoff run in 1990. Jose Rio was the MVP of the 1990 World Series with a 2.22-0 with a .59 ERA and 2 starts in the World Series. That's insane. You don't hear a lot about that stuff. The one that stings the most World Series for me was 1997. Cleveland versus the Marlins. Being a Cleveland Indians fan, that one just that 2016, but 97. Marlins were a wild card team.